All right, good morning. We are rocking and rolling here at Strategic Insurance, and I just got back from a nice little vacation, and that normally gives me time to think and add and pray and all that good stuff. So I know we got several people coming in and joining the meeting. That's great. And good morning to Amy, and it looks like we got David Godwin and Mac, and Sherry and Brooke and several others joining us. So really happy to come join you guys this morning, and I hope everybody's doing great and had a good week and good weekend. We're really excited to share some of the things that we've got prepared for you guys today. So I'm going to jump right in and just kind of get us rolling. We're also streaming live on Facebook, so hopefully that you guys also see that, and that helps in some way just with everything that we're doing. So I'm going to share my screen here in 1 second. So one of the things we always just like to do is kind of give an update on things that are going on. This is what we're doing right now is never been done before, and so you all are kind of on the front end of something that hopefully is going to be really cool and grow and get even bigger and bigger. I always say the early adopters, the brave ones, are the crazy ones, and they're the ones that normally change the world, or change the world they're in, at least. So in terms of, and I'm sharing my screen now, yeah, just to kind of update. So we've made these announcements before, but just want to make sure this is your time to kind of plug in and get info and hopefully get some motivation, get your week kicked off right. And I just want to make sure, because I'm on Facebook Live as well. It's the first time I've done this. Can you guys hear me, those of you that are with me? Like Amy or Brianna or anybody, just let me know you're there.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm checking the Facebook Live just to make sure.
I'd love to hear that. But anyway, so we started something with a company called Superior Access a few weeks ago. And I want to make sure everyone's aware of it. Like I said, we try and highlight a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we've got here at the agency to hopefully benefit you, but I just want to really highlight this again. And again, kind of this, living laboratory that is Strategic Insurance, and I'm actively involved in this with you guys, right? So I'm still producing, I'm still very involved. But so Superior Access allows you to quote in other states fairly easily. So the idea is, hey, you have a client or a prospect or a lead, and let's say they're in Ohio, and you want to try and write them a homeowners or an auto policy. Well, go to our password list, You go to Superior Access, it says other states right there. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to see the list of states that we're in. And guys, keep in mind, we can get licensed anywhere. So I'm normally the one that pays for those costs for the agency to get licensed. Ultimately, if you would obtain clients in that state, you yourself would need to have that non-resident license as well. But in terms of the front end, it's very easy for us to do. So that's not hard at all. If you go into this Superior Access, you click Market Finder. This will give you a visual right now of the states we're licensed in. So we're licensed in about 19 states. You can see mostly the Southeast. You've got Texas, Louisiana, parts of the Southwest, and then some parts of the Northeast, right? So we've got some in the middle America, to fill in here, the Midwest, I should say a little bit. But again, the idea would be, hey, I need to quote somebody in Ohio. Well, you can click on Ohio. You can say, okay, I want personal lines, I want auto, click proceed, and then it's going to tell you the carriers you're going to have access to. Now, some of the nuances of this, guys, if we have a direct carrier access, and that would be companies like typically Safeco, Travelers, and Nationwide, we would want to quote that directly through us because you'll get more commission. The agency will get more commission, you'll get more commission. And again, on some of these guys, I'm well aware, you start doing stuff in other states, please reach out to me, reach out to Leanne, reach out to Brianna. Be happy to help you through this. But I'm not going to take a ton of time to go into this other than to say we just had a quote request from Massachusetts the last week. So, and we are licensed in Massachusetts, and it was something I personally worked on myself, where I just went in, clicked Massachusetts, and was able to kind of run through that process fairly easily. So I want to make sure everyone's aware of that. We definitely have gotten lots of questions from time to time about, hey, I've got a prospect, I've got a client in another state, in another area. And so, again, all part of your agency support fee, you've got access to Superior Access. So, and again, they're very broad. So it's not just auto, it's home, it's, personal articles, floater, it's all kinds of things. And this Market Finder, I think their website and their layout is really pretty easy in terms of saying, okay, what do I need? I want homeowners, and it'll walk you through pretty easy on that. So make sure you're aware of that. Take advantage of it, guys. Let me know how we can help you if you've got questions on that. Our sales contest, we're coming in the last few weeks here. We've got several that are on pace to hit our sales contest, which is awesome. I'm super excited about that. I love to see people win on this team. So we definitely have a handful of people that are slated to be able to get away for 2 nights on Strategic. And again, this is if you're local, it's either Opal Sands or Ritz or some really, really high-end hotel up to $500 a night. So definitely excited about that. Our YouTube channel, again, we continue to add videos, and we're also really working on, and I'm going to add this in here right now, our LMS. So we're creating this thing called Strategic U. And it's going to be basically an online university, and it's all going to be included right now in your support fee. And so we're doing some really cool things with a company called LearnDash and building things on the back end to kind of just streamline the process. So that's going to be coming as well. Always want to highlight updating your win list for commission advance. Super important, guys. You got to get stuff on our win list. That's how Joyce tracks things and pays you. So those, again, just kind of changes and updates. So I want to jump in and really, as I was away this week, I had a chance to, and I was just in vacation with my family. I took a week, and we went to Georgia. And those of you that see me on Facebook kind of see what we were doing. But we just spent a week up on a Lake Lanier with my family and one other family, and did 2 family boating, and just really good family time. So I mentioned that for a couple reasons, because it's so important for you, depending on where you're at in your journey. And I know there's some of you that are brand new, and you really have to work and grind. And some of you are more experienced. Some of you have, there's just a wide range of people that are on this journey. And that's awesome. Where I'm going with it is just the importance of taking some time to recharge. So important, right? And that could be, you may not be able to take a week, but that could be an afternoon. That could be an hour. Just thinking about that and giving yourself some of that time to kind of unplug and let your mind go, right? So that's really going to be the training that we're going to get into. Some of these things came out of that. It also gave me an opportunity to listen and study a little bit more than normal. So, we're going to reinforce some just themes that are always going to be important to you, hopefully, in your success. I mentioned some of that in the text this morning. So we'll jump into that. But here's Napoleon Hill's success tip for the day, which I'm always a big fan of this. And so, of Napoleon Hill. So he says, there's two kinds of people who never get ahead. Those who will not do what they are told, and those who do only what they are told. And I just thought that was so good. Again, he's just got a great way with words. And, thinking about these two paradigms, if you will. So, we give you lots of ideas, lots of suggestions, lots of hopefully training that adds value to you wherever you're at in this journey, right? And so one thing you always got to do is you got to be honest with yourself. Good leadership starts with you, and good leadership starts with defining reality. And so you got to say to yourself, okay, I'm doing some of the things that Doug and the team have encouraged me to do from a marketing perspective, sales perspective, training perspective, etc. That's number one. And then number two, you also have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, I have a great opportunity here. Doug and the team are providing, carrier access, services, a team to support on the back end, markets, on and on and on. You then have to be the one to walk through the door and figure out how you're going to best utilize this. So where I'm going with that is you need to really think about, well, what are all the other things that I can do to grow and be successful here that don't have to do with things that, Doug and the team have directly told me, right? So I just really encourage you guys to think about both ends of that spectrum. And I would encourage you guys to think about, I heard a pastor one time say so appropriately, with so many things in life, there can be ditches on both sides of the road, right? So again, for the people that, you haven't maybe had a chance to really work through your marketing plan, you haven't really done your fast start action plan, or, your life cycle marketing, or some of these very foundational things, you got to be honest and be like, okay, I need to do that. If I want to see results, I've got to do those things. And then maybe you have done a lot of that. Then you also have to say, okay, well, what other things can I do that maybe I haven't been directly, taught or told, right? It's that idea of seeking information. And again, I shared this with someone the other day. I'm very results oriented, and I want you to be results oriented. So long as it's legal, ethical, above board, all of that, you can get creative. That's what I love about our business and industry, right? You can use some of your drive, your passion, your interest, etc., and channel them in a way that can help you make money here. So just really encourage you guys on that in terms of those two thoughts. So with that being said, and this kind of leads in, I'm going to skip some of the books for now that we kind of talk about. You guys know we talk a lot about pipeline as your lifeline, but really I want to talk a little bit today. I've done some trainings on this before, but I just felt it's important maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months to go back to this. And again, I was convicted of this as I was listening to some trainings and some classes that I had been paying for and listening to online, talking about some of these ideas. So the first one I really want to jump into is the importance of a personal and business mission statement and vision as well. And so, if I just sort of hit the pause button there and I say, what's the first thing you guys think of when you hear either mission or vision? Kind of just give me some feedback, those of you that are on right now. What do you think of?
That kind of relates to goals.
Tied a lot to goals. Okay, good. I like it. What else?
Was that mission and vision?
Yeah, and the reason I threw that out, Brianna, is because depending on how people define it, they can be closely tied together, right?
Okay.
So depending, and again, this is kind of a, this is just like an open discussion here, right? So what if we just say, hey, mission statement, what comes to mind just in general? Whether you're thinking about a business, whether you're thinking about yourself, what sorts of things? So Amy said goals, like anything else?
I think like what you, I feel like a mission statement makes me think like kind of what you stand for.
Love it. Okay. So what you stand for. So I'm going to even write some of these down. These are good. Okay. What else?
How you do.
Yeah.
A purpose.
I like it. Was that Sherry?
Yeah. And Laura's here with me, so we're just sharing the screen.
Love it. Well, good morning, Lori and Sherry. You guys are like, we get two for the price of one. I love it. Okay, so purpose. So we got goals, what you stand for, a purpose. Anything else come to mind, guys?
It's like it gives you direction. You have to have someplace to look for to get there.
I like it. And I'll add to that, and I'm going to add the why, right? So, and there is no shortage of information out there on this stuff, guys, period. Like, I mean, if you, and we're not going to do it right now, but I mean, if we just Googled like mission statement or vision statement or any of that stuff, I'm sure, and we do a query in Google, there's going to be, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of different articles on it. So lots of books on this, lots of YouTube stuff on this. Here's my own experience with it. Again, some of this stuff I kind of shared with you guys in onboarding. When you go back to the goal planning, and I tend to agree with Amy in a way too, that they can be very interaligned with goals. Okay. You know, and I shared with you guys, like just trying to be very transparent, you know, in my earlier career, I'd been hearing about a lot of this stuff for a long time. We're just kind of like rolling my eyes about it. Right. It was just like, seriously, you know, I went to college, I checked that box. I kind of felt entitled, frankly, that I didn't have to sort of learn anymore. If I'm being really honest, if I'm being like totally honest, you know, went to high school, went to college, did well. It was kind of like, you know, I just want to work and make money earlier in my career. Right. And then, you know, all of a sudden something clicked, probably about, I don't know, maybe 8, 9 years into my career, maybe 10 years ago on this stuff. And so I'm just being honest because I know some of you that are either listening right now and, or we've got lots of people that watch this on demand. Maybe we kind of like, again, you know, I've kind of shared before. It's like, Doug, you know, just show me how to sell insurance to make money. Well, I'm working on that, but it's kind of like building the foundation, right? Like we've got to sort of build the foundation to the house almost. And so often these are things that are missed. These are things that aren't even talked about. Like you go to a lot of agencies today, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, you're probably not going to get training on this. It's like, okay, here's how here's how to quote home, here's how to quote auto, you know, here's the markets. Frankly, guys, that's the easy stuff, right? And those of you that have been here for a little bit of time, you know, we've got on-demand videos. We've got live trainings with Leanne on Thursday. You've got lots of ways to access this stuff. This stuff, to me, is the stuff that really makes the big difference. And again, I'm also well aware that a lot of you that are working here, this is a part-time. This is a side hustle. This may not be your end-all be-all. And some of you it may, or some of you it may change into that. But what I'll say is these ideas and strategies, if you put them into play, will also help you in whatever your main job or career is and your personal life and on and on and on. So I love that you guys brought some of these things, kind of goals, what do you stand for, purpose, direction, why. You know, the other thing that, and just as I'm thinking about right now, I mean, for lack of a better term, kind of a rallying cry, and that's kind of a weird term in a way, even as I write it now, maybe you guys have heard that before, but it's sort of that thing that you sort of rally around, right? It can be a filter, maybe that's another way to put it, like a filter that you make decisions from. So there can be a lot to this. So, you know, really what I want to share with you today, and those of you that are newer, you know, again, we cover some of this in our onboarding training, but I just feel like it's really important to let you know what our mission is, right? Like what are we about here at Strategic Insurance, and how does that impact you, right? So again, on our main page, we have the why choose SIS. This goes, we've done lots of trainings, and we'll continue to talk about kind of the why you, the why someone would want to work with you, why would someone want to work with the agency. And we've done some trainings on that, and I encourage you to kind of seek that out as well. Our mission statement, though, and actually we have it on the very, very main page, okay, is right here, right? And so I trademarked this 5 years ago. I went to a boot camp in Atlanta, and they really hit on this. And I had the time and kind of the mind space, if you will, to do this. So our rallying cry here is to help families and businesses prepare, protect, and recover from life's unexpected events. And so they move forward with confidence. Now, you may like that and say, oh, Doug, you know, you should be a writer in Hollywood, and that's, you know, a Pulitzer Prize winning thing. Or you may be saying, whatever. Nah, not so impressed, or anywhere in between, okay? I'm being a little silly, a little tongue-in-cheek with that, but what I want to highlight is it's at least a framework with which I can help lead and direct the agency, and you yourself can use this as you're talking with your clients and prospects, right? Again, if we sort of go high level on this stuff, if we go view from 30,000 feet, and we say that good experiences from a customer service perspective, from a buying perspective, normally involve more than just price. right? And again, I want you guys to think about your own experiences outside in the real world with whatever things you're buying, okay? While price is always a factor, it's not normally the most important thing when you look at some research. Now, again, we also have lots of word tracks, and we teach you as you're engaging with a prospect that we kind of back end that and say, you know, we understand price is very important, but tell me what else is important. Where I'm going with it is you can have a very different conversation with your clients and your prospects if you say, you know what, I just want to take like 30 seconds and let you know what our mission statement is here. We believe in it and we feel it's going to benefit you. We are here to help you prepare, protect, and recover from life's unexpected events, right? And then practically speaking, guys, we do things like educational emails out to our clients. You know, we send emails out around hurricane season and prepare people for hurricane season. As people get ready to go back to school, we send out information on, you know, sort of bus safety and best tips and practices to keep kids safe at school, right? So we try to do a lot on that proactive side, that, you know, that kind of prepare side. The protect side, that's really the heart of what you're doing. And that's really the heart of insurance, right? So if you think about it, there is a promise behind every policy you write. So if we're writing a homeowner's policy, we're saying in essence, you know what, Mr. Client, you've trusted Laura and Sherry to do some analysis and work on your behalf to protect your home, okay? You know, Mr. Client, you have taken some time and effort with Jimmy to protect your auto, or you fill in the blank, to protect your blank. And there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack with that. But protection goes to the heart of insurance, really, of what we're doing. And then that recover piece is really the claim side of things, right? And again, we've got a whole model and process that when a client has a claim, we want to be there and we want to hold their hand and walk them through that whole process. So again, if you take a little bit of time to go over that with your clients, with your prospects, I think you're going to find that you're going to engage with people in a little bit of a different way. It's going to be something that's probably a little more unique than if, let's picture you've got someone calling and they're buying a home and they're calling around to a few different agents to get quotes. They're probably not going to hear that, okay? So I really would encourage you guys to kind of understand our mission a little bit and see how you can incorporate that into your working with your clients and your prospects. It's going to change the dynamics a little bit. And here's what you really want, and I think this is so true with so many things in life, is you want, and I've shared this with you guys lots of times before, you want people to be first tied to you, secondly to the agency, and then lastly to the carrier. Because the carrier, we work with all good carriers, all primarily AM Best A-rated carriers, you know, on and on and on. The carrier can very much change over the years. The constant that we hope is you and this agency for the client, right? So when you can kind of position yourself in a way that's a broader idea, that's a bigger picture, that's, again, this, hey, we're here to help you prepare, protect, and recover, it's going to, again, sort of shift the conversation in a way that's not just getting them to focus on right now, this year, and the bottom line. Again, and I'm not saying that at times it's not going to be an issue with clients, but I know my own experience, guys, and you know, I certainly have lots of conversations with lots of people, and times where I am able to share this, it normally leads to the conversation and the relationship in a different way, and hopefully a better way, okay? So that's our mission here, right? That's what we're about. That's what we're surrounding ourselves on. Again, those of you that have been with me a long time know we talk about this quite a bit. We want to, you know, train from it, teach from it. We want to kind of make this a living, breathing thing. And it's also something that you can use as a filter in your own self and saying, hey, is this sort of lining up, whatever you're thinking about doing or marketing or whatever, is it helping in one of these areas, okay? So that's kind of on the business side. On the personal side, I really encourage you, and I put it on here, and we've talked about this before a little bit as well, I really encourage you to think about a personal mission statement. And so I want to just, again, kind of open it up and say, you know, when we talk about a personal mission statement, why, and I think a lot of these things would apply certainly, but why do you think it would be important to have a personal mission statement in addition to whatever your business that you're operating in? What do you guys think about that?
Doug, when you say personal mission statement, are you referencing kind of the same as a value statement, like, you know, what we, our elevator picture or something to that effect?
Yeah, a little bit. Jimmy, I'm having a hard time hearing you, bud. If you can speak up a little bit, but I think what I heard is, you know, Jimmy was sort of asking, or am I thinking this is similar to, you know, sort of your 30-second, your 30-second infomercial, if you will,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
your personal value statement. Is that what you said, Jimmy?
Yeah. So
I think, you know what, I think as I'm thinking about this, they're definitely different. And
okay.
but I like what you just said, because you made me think about some training I want to do maybe next week and talking about a 30-second infomercial. What I'll say though is I think that, again, if we kind of talk foundational, Jimmy, I think this kind of goes almost a higher level. Here's, again, let me just kind of high level this for you guys. Tell you kind of how I view this and some of the things that, you know, I've read, studied, and trained on. You know, you may hear things like this. How do you evaluate whether you had a good day or not? Right? Now that may be you may hear that question and be like, well, I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe I made a sale, or I had a good lunch, or I talked to a friend, or so for me, very practically, and I'll share my mission statement with you guys in a few minutes here. It literally allows me to filter through my day and say, you know, am I quote unquote on mission? And then at the end of the day, I can sort of just mentally evaluate quickly and say, was it a good day or not? That's very practical for me, okay? The other thing that you can certainly say, and Jimmy, you kind of alluded to it, and say value statement. You know, I think the mission and values and vision, you know, all those things are very, very much intertwined. I think, again, if you kind of look at a personal mission statement, it also would be a great filter for you, right? We kind of talked about that here with the business. And again, why I'm highlighting this is because each of you is your own individual person, and each of you may look at things a little bit differently. We may have a lot in common. We may see things a lot of the same way, but not likely exactly the same way. So for each of you out there, and those that listen to the calls on demand, or the Zooms on demand, just in my mind, it's one way that, again, you can sort of quickly scan through and say, whatever you're looking at doing, okay, does this line up with my personal mission? We're in if you look at it kind of in the negative light, does it violate my personal mission in any way? You know, the other way to look at it too, and I've heard this lots of times, and this is kind of a, you know, yeah, a bigger picture one, and one that, you know, takes people down the road a bit, but it's kind of like, what would you want people saying at the end of your life? Right? And that's a tough one, guys, to think about. Like, what do you want said at your eulogy, at your funeral? And again, I'm not trying to get like dark and morbid here by any stretch of the imagination, but what I'm trying to do is help you guys think about living and being intentional. And follow me here. I personally know and believe the more intentional you are with these ideas, personal mission statement, understanding the business mission statement here, strategic, it is all going to translate into bottom line, more dollars in your pocket. All of the best success-minded, Napoleon Hills, Jim Rohn's, you know, Earl Nightingale's, on and on will tell you, you are wiser to work harder on yourself than on your business, because you get like a multiple. In other words, when you work on yourself, and even those of you that are tuning in now, you're dedicating some time now to say, okay, I want to kind of show up and hear what Doug's going to talk about this week, with the idea that hopefully this is going to make a positive impact in your life and ultimately in your business. You get that sort of multiple, right? As opposed to, or put it another way, you know, there are people out there that just do something for the almighty dollar, and that's it. And there's no other reason, no other passion, no other joy, no other anything. And oftentimes those people wind up making less money and living less satisfied lives than people that are sort of on mission, just like with what we're talking about. And oftentimes these are the people that are living very mission-minded, if you will, that make more money, have better satisfaction, have better relationships, on and on and on. So So I'm going to share mine real quick, just to kind of give you an idea. So I'm just going to put, here's Doug's, right? And I made mine into like a little acrostic, if you will. I wanted something that I could remember. And again, I would say, you know, if you like some of what I've got in mind, awesome. And you want to kind of tweak it and play with it and adopt it in any way, shape, or form, go for it, right? Like I have a mentor of mine who says, you know, when you're in school and you copy, you can get in trouble, right? In the professional world, when you copy, you can learn and grow, and it's called research and development. So again, if you like any of it, feel free to take it. I would also say, really think though, what are you about, and what's important to you. So here's mine. So I kind of say I want to add humph into my day, right? So this idea of humph is like this little goofy acronym of HMIF, and here's what it is. So the first thing, because I am a person of faith, you don't have to be a person of faith to work your work with me. I've always shared that, but you know, I am who I am, and I want to share that with you guys. So I want to honor God in all that I do, right? So that's what that H stands for. Now, if you think about that, and again, depending on your background, your religious affiliation, etc., I'm not trying to get on a whole thing here, but there's a lot to be said that if I really care about honoring God, there's probably going to be a lot of things that I'm going to do and a lot of things that I'm not going to do. So even in that one statement, you know, we've kind of, that one statement can be very, very big, I guess is what I'm saying, right? And then I put the MI is I want to make a positive impact in the lives of others, right? So that's that MI. And again, obviously this statement is longer than that, but if you kind of look at the M and the I here. So just like what I'm doing right now, I can look at the end of the day and saying, okay, I may not be making a sale right now. I may not be, you know, I just came back from vacation. I've literally got like 700 emails to go through. I've got interviews coming up. There's lots of other things I could be doing right now, but I hopefully am making a positive impact in your life right now. And honestly, it's some of the thing I enjoy the most. I love doing that. I enjoy that. That's why I've got it in my mission. And again, I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. That may not be what is at the core of your mission as much. And that's okay, right? There's no judgment here with that. But for me, this idea of making an impact, a positive impact on the lives of other people, when I said to you guys that, you know, I use it as a filter to even say, like, how was my day, right? I can look back and I can say, okay, did I make a positive impact in the life of anyone else? If I did, it was a good day. Even if I lost a sale, you know, we've had, you know, some of the things you guys maybe not see, which again, running a business is not an easy thing. In the last 6 weeks, we've had 3 people on our service team that are either leaving or we've had to let go. We haven't had much turnover at all in the last probably 3 to 4 years. I've had 3 in the last 6 weeks. We're currently interviewing for 2 positions right now, right? So I only share that to say that even if, you know, the day was challenging, somebody had to, you know, leave, and most of the people left on good terms. But if I can say, did I make a positive impact on the life of someone else, then it's been a good day, right? And then my last one, that F just stands for fun. You know, I want to have fun, right? Like, to me, that was important to have in my mission statement. As I thought about me personally, I don't want to go through life and just, you know, kind of slugging along and sucking lemons and woe is me, right? So for me, I wanted to add that into my personal mission statement, right? So again, I want to honor God in all that I do. I want to make a positive impact in the lives of others, and I want to have fun. I would encourage you guys to really think about this stuff a little bit. And if you want, this could be a spot you could share on Facebook, on our Facebook group, if you feel comfortable. The only reason I mention that is, again, sometimes when you start to see other people putting things out there, it may encourage and motivate you, okay, to do that and to kind of take those next steps. And again, I would really encourage you guys that if you've never done this before or taken it seriously, kind of like I was sharing with you guys where, you know, I'd heard this stuff before and kind of just rolled my eyes at it and whatever. But if you've never really done it before, I'd really encourage you to sit down and spend some time. Ask yourself the question, what am I about? What do I really care about? Like, what do I want said about me? What what's important to me? Like, again, as a filtering question, how can I build something that says, this is a way that I can determine, did I have a good day? Right? Like, I'm not just saying, hey, okay, you know, what you want people saying at the end of your life. I'm saying, like, right here and right now in, you know, August 10th, 2020, how do you walk away and say, okay, it was a good day because I fulfilled my personal mission, right? Any questions on that, guys? On any of the mission stuff, either the business mission, what we're about here at Strategic, or kind of that idea, the personal mission. All right, I'm going to move on to the power of testimonials. So I want to talk about this, and this is awesome. And again, this is some of my stuff that I definitely just love seeing. So, you know, Google obviously has a pretty big stranglehold on pretty much everything, right? And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm meeting someone or looking at a business, I typically do what? I start by Googling it. And maybe some of you did that with me. You know, however you found me or referred to me or saw an ad or whatever, you know, you're like, who is this guy and his kind of goofy little cartoon and and whatever that may be. And then maybe you Googled us, right? Which is very, very important for a lot of reasons right now. Okay. But so we've got over 200 5-star Google reviews. That's awesome. Great. What I love is, frankly, most of these aren't about me. Okay. They're often about other people. So I wanted to bring this up, and I think she's on the call right now. But we just had one over the weekend from this Heather Lascano. Okay. And it said, Brooke, and this is Brooke Lynch, quickly rose to the top of a list of referrals for homeowners insurance. She's informed, very responsive, attentive, thoughtful, and incredibly pleasant to work with. Knowing someone is there to answer any questions, priceless. Okay. You know, and so here was sort of my response back. So here's what I want to take away from this for you guys, right? A couple things. Okay. So, some of you have heard me talk about social proofing before. Can anybody share, or if you haven't heard me talk about it, maybe you've heard it somewhere else. What is social proofing? Anybody have an idea on that?
Kind of like a word of mouth. I feel like if I want to try something new, I will go to the people I trust, or I would want to hear someone talk good about it before I am more inclined to try it.
Yeah, well put. I think so. There's a real strong tie with trust. You mentioned trust and sort of maybe seeking advice at some level. You were kind of saying, like, I'm asking for a referral, right? So social proofing is basically what you're looking at right now. Okay, it's one thing if Brooke, you know, kind of screams from the mountaintops. And Brooke, can you hear me? Or you think you're on the call? I want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
here.
Okay, because I'm mentioning you, talking about this. I want to make sure you can kind of respond if you want to.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, you got it. So listen, Brooke could go on Facebook right now and say, I'm going to make a post every day for the next 2 months and say, I'm great, I'm really good in insurance, and do that each day. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. She may get something out of it, I don't know, but likely not the best way to do it. But if other people see that there have been other clients that have said Brooke's great, that's powerful. That's the idea of social proofing. So if I put it simply, social proofing is someone else is bragging on you rather than you're bragging on you, right? You're not sitting there and saying, hey, I'm the best, I'm great. You've got other people doing that. So here's my encouragement and recommendation to you. Some of these adjectives here I thought were awesome. And you know, I asked Brianna is going to probably do a post on our Facebook group as well, because I think there's just a lot of really good takeaways with it. And, you know, Brooke is doing awesome and she's newer. Don't let this go to your head, Brooke, by the way. But when I look at the adjectives, here's what I liked, right? So quickly, okay, informed, responsive, attentive, thoughtful, pleasant, priceless. I don't know if priceless is an adjective or not, but you kind of get the idea, right? I mean, this lady literally only wrote, what, 1, 2, 3 sentences, and look at how jam-packed that is. Jimmy Nazaro, and Jimmy I know is on the call too, has gotten some great testimonials lately that we've also posted on Facebook. And so those are things to think about is, and maybe again, trying to tie a few ideas together, you know, are there certain traits or things that you'd want to weave into your mission statement at some level that would help you in your personal life, your career here at Strategic, whatever other things you may be doing? Just food for thought. But so just that idea of, and even when you are newer, you can be responsive, you can be attentive, you can be thoughtful, you can be pleasant. That's what I kind of loved about this, because Brooke is brand new and she's got a lot to learn, like many of you. But what's really cool about our industry, in my opinion, is that the people that have really good awe, we talk about that, awe as attitude and work ethic, can go really, really far. Because people at the end of the day are going to deal with people they know, like, and trust. And so some of those adjectives right there are just jam-packed, right? So thinking about that, thinking about, you know, what does this look like very practically? Like the next time you get a lead or a prospect, are you responding quickly? Are you calling them quickly? Or are you, you know, maybe are you on a conference call and you can't get to them, but maybe you shoot them a text and say, hey, I see you called. I'm going to get back to you by. What does that look like? Very practically speaking, right? The other thing that I would say here too, and I'm going to kind of go back to this in terms of the power of testimonials, is just, you know, we'll put, you know, be the right person. We talked about some of that, you know, the adjectives that describe, you know, a great client situation. And then also, I'm just going to talk about this. Ask. I can't state this one enough. In fact, I'm going to be a little obnoxious here, but I'm going to make this like 72-point font right now and red, right? You want testimonials? Ask for them. Ask. You know, there's a great Bible verse that says, ask and you shall receive. Put it another way and take the Bible out of it. If you don't ask, it may not happen. You know, and it's so funny because I think of like my own interactions with my family, and I've got 3 kids under 6, right? So I think a lot of you guys have probably seen, those of you who haven't, here's my crew, right? Here's where most of the strategic dollars that I make go. My wife, Amy, my daughter, Abigail's 6.5, Asher's 4.5, Avery's 2.5. Here's where I'm going with it. They have no problem asking and asking repeatedly. Those of you that have had kids or been around kids, they are doggone persistent, right? I want a snack. I want this. I want whatever it is. And again, like they're growing, they need to learn, you know, what's appropriate and respectful and all that. But there's something I just love inherently about their determination and their consistency that I think we as adults can really take a lot from, frankly. So my encouragement to you, again, here's kind of like your news flash. Like this is where if you're kind of checked out or you're on Facebook or looking at your cell phone or whatever, which if you are, that's fine. I get it. I'm not offended. This is like the takeaway is if you don't walk away with one other thing from this meeting, walk away with, to get testimonials, I need to ask. I deal with a client and it goes, well, hey, would you take a minute? I would love a testimonial. And then what does that look like? Now, I personally think it would be best if they went to Google and put it on there because you have it forever. It's social proof. It's something very easily you can point back to. Look at how easily I was able to pull this up, okay? If you want them to email it to you, that's fine. I don't really care how you get it. It's just that you get it, okay? And then the question is, okay, well, let's say I get a testimonial. What do I do with it? So I want to kind of open that up. So what do you think would be something that you could do with a testimonial you get?
I see Amy and Kayla share on Facebook. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. And then thank their client for that like nice review.
You know, I think, again, what I look at is people that use social media effectively. And again, this is just one man's opinion, right? This is just me. There's no shortage of opinions on how to use social media for selling and on and on. I mean, There's tons of courses on there on this stuff. I'm taking one right now. Okay. Taking a few right now. In my opinion, just as like sort of a, consumer, if you will, or a guy on Facebook at times, I like the people that I sort of see, they raise the awareness of what they're doing, but they're not obnoxious about it. They're weaving in their own life, their own story. Yeah, their kids, their dogs, chocolate. Kids, dog, and chocolate are the three biggest things on the internet, or supposedly, and Facebook and all that. But they weave in what they're doing, right? Like their work life. And they're not hitting you over the head and like Facebook messaging you every minute, and every post is about them trying to say, oh, I'm a Beachbody consultant. Okay. And don't get me wrong, there are some people that do that and do it effectively and make money. And that like they just hammer social media, like here's what I'm about, here's what I do, here's what I'm about, here's what I do. If you want to do it, do it. I'm not telling you not to, by the way. Hear me. Like if you're like, you know what, I really want to make a goal and I'm going to post every day to social media about me doing insurance and trying to raise that awareness, go for it. Awesome. Okay. Just not my experience of what I think is the best thing, but that's okay. But that idea that you kind of can weave some of this in, especially when you get a referral or a testimonial like this, where you could very much go to Facebook and you don't even have to use the person's full name. Frankly, I wouldn't, okay? Unless you had permission from them, unless you already talked to them. Said, hey, I really appreciate that. You mind if I, add it to my Facebook and maybe tag you in it? Okay, I would get that permission if you want to do that. But you could certainly say, hey, you know what? I'm so happy I was just able to help just their first name with whatever it is, with blank, and really know that she was very happy with the process. And then maybe you screenshot this part of it, right? And then, what you think is that as somebody's scrolling through their news feed on Facebook, and they're like, oh, wow, Brooke does homeowners insurance, and it looks like Heather was really happy with that. And then that's going to plant a seed, right? So that is a very, very practical way that you could use that testimonial. What else could you do with it? What other ways do you think we could use it outside of just social media?
I always tell my clients, in my past, obviously this is my first review, but when working with them, how about you check out my reviews online? If you have any hesitation,
Love it.
I refer them to it. So if
Love
you
it.
build your referrals.
Right. So again, it's social proofing. So, and again, just for sake of time, I'm going to give you guys a couple other thoughts. So you could, and again, this takes a little time. It takes a little energy. It takes a little effort. It's not as easy as, okay, I'm going to make a quick post on Facebook. And I know I've thrown out for you guys, if you want, I will kick in some resources for it. But, what if you said, okay, well, I'm going to go and look up Heather's neighborhood where Heather lives. And I'm going to pull a radius of, and let's pick even a small number and say, I'm going to pick a radius of like 200 homes in the area. And a lot of times you can get this stuff through property appraiser pretty easily. And I'm going to do a mail out, a letter to those 200 homes and just say, hey, I was so happy to help one of your neighbors with their home insurance, and they saved some money, or whatever you maybe did. And, I'd love to be that resource for you. We've got all the markets. We can kind of work on a call to action for you. And then maybe the PS is, hey, you can see some of the feedback that this client gave for me below. And maybe you put that testimonial in there. Okay. Now, again, I'm not saying you mail that letter, you're going to get 200 calls the next day. But maybe you get 10. Maybe you get 20. I don't know. Maybe you get 5. Maybe you also raise the awareness in that neighborhood. Oh, okay, so there's this lady named Brooke who helped my neighbor Heather, and I can maybe use her, right? Realtors are great at this, by the way. I've encouraged you guys on this before. As you're thinking about marketing, be a student of marketing, and one of the easiest places to start is just look at what stuff you get. Look at how people market to you, right? Like, be curious when you go to your mailbox tonight and scan through the stuff and be like, Like it, don't like it, don't like it, like it. And if you like it, why did you like it? What was it? Was it what they wrote, how they wrote it? Was it a picture? What was it? Start thinking about those things. But realtors are really great at this, by the way. Have you ever gotten, let me throw this out to you. Have you ever gotten the postcard from, let's say, local successful realtor? Hey, we just sold your neighbor's home for, $10 million. We can help you. You want a market analysis? You want a free report? Blah, 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 blah. My guess is you've probably seen that, something like that before. Great strategy, takes a little energy, takes a little effort, but it's yet another way you could use that testimonial offline, right? So that's yet another way you could do it. You could perhaps send a text message out. Perhaps send a text message out to a handful of folks. Again, this is a little more of a direct. Hey, I just want to let you know I was able to help a client recently and we helped them save money and blah, blah, blah. And they had great things to say. Here's a screenshot. If I can help you in any way, I'd love an opportunity to do that, right? That concept could apply to text message, that could apply to email, that could apply to Facebook Messenger in a handful of ways. That one's certainly a little bit more direct, okay? I would use that one like salt, like a little bit. I wouldn't do that like every time you got a testimonial. But, is it something you could maybe do once a quarter? Sure. Why not? So those are a handful of ways, guys, in terms of how you can use those testimonials. So again, I would certainly say step one, make sure you're doing the actions to become the person that's going to get testimonials. It's going to have people say these things. And then number two, and probably the most important thing, is ask, right? Ask them. And here's, let me also, and I'm going to give you, we're not going to do the change the channel right now because we don't have time, but I'm going to give you, a word track here for this, by the way, because some people say, okay, Doug, well, great. Well, how do I ask? What do I say? So here's something you can say. So you can say something like, and this pulls on another kind of, and I can't think of the term right now. It's not law of reciprocity, but sort of another innate trigger, if you will, of how we're built. And here's how you start. Watch me here. Ready? I need your help. That's the first line. That's the opening. I need your help. Now, most of us, I believe, God kind of wired us to want to do good things. Again, there's, think about why do people volunteer? They don't make any money. Sometimes you have to pay. It can be hot, all this. Well, you often feel good helping other people, right? Okay. So we're kind of hardwired for that. And think about this. If you hear someone that says, hey, I need your help, and assuming they're not a jerk or chasing you down with an axe, you're probably going to say, okay, what you got, right? I need your help. I'm looking to grow my business with great clients like yourself. Okay? And then I'll put, who else can you think of that I can help with their insurance? People like friends, family, coworkers, etc. Here's where I'm tying this in two ways, by the way. And then I would put, would you mind if I shared, would you mind, let me see how I'm going to put this. Would you be willing to give me a testimonial so when I contact them, they know it comes from you? Follow me? Think about that. Just finished writing a client, have a really good experience, they're really happy overall. Oh, you saved me money, you're great. Oh, you followed up, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I need your help. I'm looking to grow my business with great clients like yourself. Who else can you think of that I may be able to help with their insurance? People like your friends, family, coworkers, etc. And would you mind giving me a testimonial so that when I contact them, they know it comes from you? So now we've really killed two birds with one stone. We've asked not only for a testimonial, which frankly we did on the very back end, but we also asked for what? The all-important referral, okay? Now, I want you to think about this. If you did this and did this consistently with every client you helped, what would your future pipeline look like if you really, really focused on it, right? My guess is it would look pretty terrific and your pipeline would be pretty fat and pretty happy. Now, you also could think about this. Now, we do a whole bunch of marketing on your behalf, right? There's all kinds of, we do anywhere between 18 to 22 touch points a year with all of our clients. Your clients are our clients. They get all kinds of stuff for us, okay? And we do have a sequence, by the way, that asks for a review, okay, that automatically goes out. But think about this. What if you took the time, because it's more personal from you than from the agency, and said, you know what, I'm going to put on my calendar every Tuesday at 10 a.m., I'm going to follow up with clients I wrote the previous week, and I'm going to go back to them, and I'm going to either text this word track or email this word track or call them with this exact word track asking for a referral and a testimonial. What would that look like, right? I'm telling you guys, it would be powerful. So I would really, really encourage you. This right here could be your $1 million ticket, literally. If I look at my own career and all, you know, we've literally, like today, we've got over 5,000 clients strategic. I've literally written myself personally thousands of people over the years. If I look over 18 years, I've literally helped thousands of people. And if I say to myself, okay, what out of all of it, I've done everything from direct mail, social media, SEO, networking, cold calling, telemarketing. I've literally tried most every marketing thing, right? Period. And I'm constantly trying it, you know, constantly trying to learn and grow and do new things. If you were to sort of say, hey, you know, I know there's no secrets. I get that, you know, hard work, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, what kind of comes to the top of your mind is some of the most effective? I would honestly say is asking. It's asking for more business. It's asking for referrals. It's asking for testimonials. So those are really big things. And again, guys, this is some of the stuff I tell you. It's simple, but not easy. Because, and I'm no better. I have this at times too. I can't tell you, oh, every client I've ever helped over the years, I've done this every time. I have it. I absolutely have it, you know. But I will tell you this, when I've done it and done it consistently, I've gotten more business and more business that I want, which is referred business, which is business that's not necessarily, hey, you know, I'm calling 10 agents and I want a quote, right? So I'd really think about how you can put this into play, guys. We're right about 11:30, so I just want to be mindful of that. I always just encourage you guys, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make sure you take massive action, right? Like hopefully put this hour of work, of listening, training, whatever it looks like on your calendar into action and do something great. So I hope you guys have a great day.
Doug.
Yeah.
I have a quick story to add to the ask.
Okay, good.
So I actually just earned a free trip to Dominican Republic.
Nice.
And I was like one order away, just one person, one order, somewhere along those lines. And if I didn't ask, it wasn't going to happen. So
Wow.
I kind of like sucked up my pride a little bit because I never feel like I want to ask. I don't want, you know, sometimes you feel like a bother.
Right.
But I got over that really fast and I just asked and that person was extremely happy to do it. You know, and I got it, I earned it.
Awesome.
So I think, you know, it just comes down to kind of that pride, pushing it to the side.
Love it. I think that's great. And, you know, those of you that don't know, Brianna also does Monet, which is a kind of like healthcare beauty stuff and has done well in that in addition to helping with the onboarding and recruiting and everything here. And, you know, so there's so much application to that, guys. So again, she's saying like, hey, I just got an opportunity to go on a trip because I asked and I could have missed it by one way or another, right? So, you know, that is such a good takeaway, guys. So, you know, again, I hope this has added some value for you guys. If I can help you in any way, if you've got questions, you need anything, shoot me a text, give me a call. And I hope you guys have a great week. So have an awesome week, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Doug.
See you guys.
Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
See you guys.